Good morning, Doctor. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Fantastic. Doctor, I got to tell you something. When I was with Nick Pope, that man spoke so highly of you. And I honestly, in that conversation, I thought to myself, I hope I'm blessed one day to talk to Dr. Travis, because I really want to know why he inspires so many people around him. And then all of a sudden this happened. I mean, I love it that we get to talk.
That's great. You manifested your own reality.
Isn't that weird? I think the aliens wanted me to get us together here.
Never know.
AlienCon is something that really inspires me, because I thought I was a weird kid out in Montana that wanted to reach up there and understand those stars. And you guys are really pushing forward the opportunity for the everyday person, as well as those that really study it, a place to go and grow.
Yeah. So I think it's actually a great place for people to talk about concepts that there haven't been a lot of pseudo mainstream venues for. And I think the more we've talked about this and the more we've brought real logical thinking and critical thinking to the topic, that it's becoming more and more mainstream on a daily basis.
One of the things that listeners need to understand, and I made this mistake when I was talking with Nick, is I called them UFOs, and he corrected me with UAPs, and we've got to get that into the everyday street language.
Well, so what you have to understand is UAP is actually a larger, broader topic. It's unidentified aerial phenomena, which could include some natural atmospheric phenomena like ball lightning, for example, or other plasma phenomena you might see in the atmosphere, or things you don't understand. While UFO is a subset of that, which suggests a intelligently driven, whether it be AI or remote control or piloted actual craft or vehicle. So it's just a subset of UAP. UAP is just the broader term.
You're always the student, aren't you? I mean, because it just feels like that you're always learning new things, and you love to share it with the people like myself.
Yeah, well, I'm actually taking a Physics 795 course right now at the local university. So I'm always studying and taking new approaches to learning things, and I do enjoy reaching out and connecting with people and helping them understand things as well.
When you read about a balloon flying over America, with all that you have learned, do you sit back and go, what? That's like a 40-year journey back? Or do you go, oh, there's some new technology here, and they're using old-fashioned ways to get it across the country?
Yeah, it's actually not necessarily an old-fashioned way. We have been designing our military systems to connect with things in a kinetic sense from about 60,000 feet down to sea level and below sea level, wow, and then above about 300,000 feet on out into deeper space for like 1,000 kilometers, where ICBM's apogee is. And we really haven't we've neglected that realm we call near space. That's where the high altitude balloons can fly. And so it's actually something that I've been expecting for a while, because it's a regime that you can operate in that we do not have weapon systems designed to target, track, and engage.
Wow. Do you think we're reaching beyond the moment of anything that's out there in space is no longer sci-fi, that we have to take it seriously?
Oh, we should have been taking it seriously from the beginning of mankind. Yeah. I mean, in fact, I think mankind mostly has up until the last 50 to 75 years or so. We somehow created this weird culture within the scientific community where we have this nonsense statement that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Nowhere in the scientific method is that stated. In fact, that's right the opposite of the scientific method. And to actually have trained scientists saying this and using this as some kind of battle cry is absolutely ridiculous. And we have to get beyond that and start really looking into what these things are, because space is huge. And we're only a teeny tiny portion of it.
You must have been reading my notes, because part of my notes here, do you think we should develop weapons to protect our nations and our planet? I mean, we are so tiny, and that whatever's out there can easily see us.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I wrote a book on this topic in the early 2000s. It's called Alien Invasion, and it is a serious textbook approach to what we should be doing to prepare for an alien invasion. Even if it doesn't happen, it's still a finite probability that it could. And just think about it from this perspective. If we have to fight them in space, we can barely get there. And when we put on our spacesuits, we can barely move. There's no way we could fight a war in space against a threat.
You bring up a really interesting point, because the fact that they canceled that SpaceX flight again with the astronauts on board, it's like, why are we getting it wrong over and over again?
Well, because rockets are extremely, extremely complicated. The Apollo Saturn V rockets had something like 2 million parts on each one of those rockets. And if one little part goes wrong, you can have a catastrophic failure. We're going to have to come up with a better way than using ancient Chinese gunpowder combustion exploding rocket technology. We have got to create a culture where we are funding advanced physics breakthrough propulsion research. And we haven't done that. We're not doing that. And it's something that every American citizen should be getting behind their congressman saying, hey, why aren't we funding that?
Yep. Do you look at someone like John Glenn and think, wow, he's part of the Ancient Astronaut, or is he still one of those guys that was an open door to go where we need to really go?
Hey, every one of the astronauts in the astronaut programs are absolute heroes and amazing. We don't need to do anything to discredit them, unless they do something themselves, because it's an extremely dangerous endeavor. It's an extremely heroic endeavor, and it's an extremely important endeavor because, the dinosaurs didn't have a space program, and look what happened to them.
God. Did you grow up listening to late night radio? Was that your inspiration to dig deeper into all of this?
Well, a lot of the late night radio really wasn't there. I'm a lot older than you might think, I guess. But as I did get a little older in college, I did listen to Art Bell Coast to Coast and things like that. But I grew up on Star Trek and Space 1999 and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Lost in Space and those kinds of things. And then, the late night radio I had when I was a kid was Dr. Demento. Yes,
absolutely. That's a different form of space travel through our brain.
Yeah.
Now, who is Elon Musk inside your world of studies? I mean, because I'm fascinated with this web of satellites that he's got up there, but is it getting in the way?
No, space is extremely big. People think we're running out of space around the Earth. It would take so many spacecraft to be put up there for us to cause a problem. It's a new technology. It's going to enable something. It's probably, with everything, there's always the negative side. You can the firearm has allowed people to conquer the wilderness in the West and to maintain private and personal security, but sometimes people go nuts and use it for bad, nefarious purposes. Right. So it's any technology is an inanimate tool. It's what people do with that tool that is good or bad.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because just a couple of weeks ago over in Ukraine, they kind of shut down part of that because they said, look, we didn't design this to be used as a weapon.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, it's the user that may have good or evil intent, not the tool itself. Unless the tool is an artificial intelligence, and then we might have a problem.
Yeah. So at AlienCon, how deep does it really go? Do we have people that are going to go in there with Perseverance T-shirts with a little drone that's up there on Mars? I mean, how deep can people go and grow with it?
Well, I think that AlienCon, we're going to go into great detail about a lot of things. We got some really good panels planned, and it's an opportunity for us to actually get to hear through the TV screen and hear what people have to think and say, and what it might inspire us or spark our creativity to do something new or add something to the effort.
Yeah, because it's a bigger community now. It's more open, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, COVID kind of held us back for a couple of years there, but the few alien cons before that, were always huge crowds. And with the Aliens Live tour, we're seeing huge crowds, people coming out to see us, and they're resonating. The reason why is because this is a story, a question that everybody wants to know the answer to,
Yep.
and we're not afraid to ask it and to search for that answer.
Man, I love where your heart is, Doctor. You got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
All right. Thank you.